So first I'm going to show you how to draw an insect. Now the end result is going to get pretty complex, but you have to remember that to draw anything you want to start with really simple shapes. So take your pencil and you're almost drawing like a little snowman, except for some of them aren't really circles, they're more like oval shapes with pointed ends. Now I'm just drawing my legs pretty simple. I'm going to make them more complicated later. And then I'm going to sketch wings right on top. You're going to see the body and the legs underneath of the wings because the wings are transparent. So what I'm doing is I'm sketching with a pencil and then I'm using what's called a micron pen. If you want to get this kind of black graphic effect, you can use a Sharpie, like a fine tip Sharpie would work better than a Sharpie that has a thicker point, or you can use a ballpoint pen. So over top of my pencil lines, I'm going in with my ink pen. To make them more interesting drawings, we're going to do several things, but one of the things is we're going to be adding texture and pattern. So notice I'm making extra lines on the bottom. I'm going to fill those up with patterns later. And then if you see on the face, I made little tiny marks, and that kind of indicates like the little hairs that would be on the bug. Over top of the legs, I'm going to add a little bit more detail. So I'm going to add like two kind of long rectangles that make it look more like legs that move instead of just little sticks. Okay, so overall it's pretty simple to draw these bugs. You just start with really simple shapes, 3 circles basically. The bottom one has more of a pointer because maybe this bug can sting and he has a pointer end. Now I've just added a little bit of lines on my wings, and then if you use the ink pen, you want to make sure that all of the ink is dry, and then you can use an eraser and get rid of your pencil lines and it'll make it look really clean and sharp. Now look at this. The ones on the left are examples of kind of a boring drawing. So we just have insects that have no variety. The one on the right is more of an interesting composition. There's different sizes, shapes, and directions for the bugs. So that's what we're going to try to do. So what I want you to notice is when I'm drawing the next bugs, I'm moving my notebook around, so I'm forced to draw in totally different directions. I want some bugs to be bigger, I want some bugs to go off of the page, like they're almost crawling into my drawing. This is going to make my composition a lot more interesting. So every bug that I draw is going to be pretty similar. They're all starting out basically like a funny shaped snowman, but notice I do little variations on the 3 different shapes each time. You can put the eyes in different spots. You can have some eyes be bigger. You can, on the other one I had just antlers. This one he has little like fangs. So these ones, the wings are going to come out a little bit more. And again, I'm going to take my pen and I'm just going to go over all of those lines that I made, again, to just make it more graphic. Now, if you don't have a pen that you can use, and again, just a normal Bic pen is totally fine. I've done lots of drawings with just regular ink pens. If you don't have a pen, you can use a pencil, but you just want to make sure you're not dragging your hand over top of your drawing and smudging it over the whole page. So again, I'm just adding some little divisions in the face and the body just to make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more complex when I'm finished. I'm going over the little legs and the antlers to make them more of like shapes rather than just lines. Now you can draw similar bugs to me, or you can just take these ideas that you learn and just totally make your own bugs. Or you can look at pictures and try to draw the details that you see from insect images on Google. Okay, so now I'm going to turn my page again, and I'm going to start drawing another bug. And notice in these eyes, I left a little tiny square of white. I find adding a little highlight to eyes just adds more life to the figures in your drawings. Now, you might notice I'm blocking a lot of this drawing with my hand, I'm sorry, but notice I'm doing a lot of little tick marks, so I want this bug to be a bee, and I want him to look kind of hairy. So I'm achieving that by, instead of just making solid outlines like the other bugs, I'm making more of like a hairy outline. And again, at the very end, I'm going to go through and add patterns to all of these shapes that I'm putting on the lower shape of each insect. So that's why I keep dividing the lower part of the insect in these lines. So I would suggest a way to break up the body like that for you as well, so that you have a space to add your patterns later. Now on that one I forgot to sketch the wing right away, so I went back and sketched it, and now I'm adding that in with a pen. And again, just to reiterate, wings are see-through, so you're just going to draw wings on top of the bug. So you're going to see the bug's body and the bug's legs if they go underneath of the wing. Okay, so I'm just going to finish off the drawing by adding a few more bugs. If you notice, there's a few spaces that have a lot of empty space. So that's what I'm trying to think about when I'm figuring out where my next bugs are going to go. Where am I really not doing much with the page? Now, notice each of the eyes I've kind of done in a different way too. So even though the main structure of each bug's pretty similar, with a circle head and a kind of pointed bottom, but each bug has something a little tiny bit different about them, so that's what makes each one look kind of more unique. So try to think about little ways that you can vary each of your insects. Okay, so this bug, I'm going to only draw part of it because I thought that there was a lot of space in this area, but I didn't want to get it too squished. And I really like when you have a lot of stuff going on in your drawing, if you let some of it go off the edge, it just has a better feel to it. Okay, so now I'm pretty happy with that composition. So the next part is I'm going to fill in those bottom sections with different patterns. So I'm doing that on the first bug here. Just adding extra lines, extra dots. And I'm going to post these patterns on Canvas so you can look at patterns online to get ideas for your drawing. And this is my final drawing. So each of the bugs has a little pattern. They're going off of the page. I ended up cropping mine a little bit. So when you're done making your art, if you decide that you don't like a part, you can fold it and cut it and make a new edge of your paper. So to recap, your assignment is to draw bugs that look like they're scattered and moving on your page. I want you to have at least 3. I did 5 because I needed more to be able to fill up my composition. Inside of the bugs, I want you to be mindful of adding texture. Texture is like the little tiny marks that make a bug look hairy or prickly. And then I also want you to add patterns into the bodies of the bug, okay? So you will have Thursday and Friday during class to work on this. On Monday, we will learn how to photograph our artwork well, and you will have time to upload it on Monday. So this entire project is due on your Google Classroom by Monday after class.